Hey guys, so we're here back again talking about leave no trace principles this time. These are going to be river trip specific or largely river trip specific. These are just my opinions. If there's something I missed, something I didn't get right, please include that in the comments down below and we're going to get started. All right, guys. So, of these seven principles of leave no trace, the first one is plan ahead and prepare. And this is going to be in the context of multi day river trips and floating for long extended periods of time. So to do that correctly and follow leave no trace principles, we got to make sure we have all the right equipment and that we've researched what the rules of the river are. Each river is going to be slightly different on what we need to do with our wastewater, what we need to do with our half drank soda and beer cans and all of those things. And just make sure that we've got all of the details planned out beforehand that we can get everything out that we brought in. And when we have thorough good planning and preparing, that is going to really hopefully avoid any kind of evacuation scenario. That you've got safety equipment, first aid, and ways to get your boats unstuck if they're pinned or wrapped. And we don't want to leave any more strain than is necessary. There's always going to be some kind or type of impact that we're going to leave. The idea and goal is to make that as little as possible and to leave the least amount of evidence that we've been to these places that we so much enjoy. So plan ahead and prepare. Try and make it to where you don't put a strain on the environment or the resources from the communities to get evacuated or anything like that. So principle two is camp and travel on durable surfaces. What that means is that you want to use those areas that have already been established. The trails that are already existing, don't be going off trail, creating new stuff, and put your tents up on the sandy beaches that are already there. If you're putting your tents up on grass, you're smushing it down, creating new stuff and expanding the footprint of those camps that are already there. So just be mindful that you're staying on those tough surfaces when you're hiking around, rocks and the dirt trails and the dirt paths that are obvious where tents have been going and people are already been camping in those areas. So principle three is dispose of waste properly. This is the main thing that people think about when we're talking about leave no trace principles. And so this is the take out your trash, using groovers to get out your human waste, peeing in the rivers. And when we were talking about our plan ahead and prepare phase, this is what's going to tell us what we're going to do with our dish soap, with our gray water. Is it going above the high river mark? Is it going in the river? Is, what are our regulations say? And it's going to depend on how these rivers are designated in the wild and scenic areas for most of them. And if they're trying to protect the water quality, we're going to be putting our gray water, soapy water above the high water mark. If you've got grease, you can burn that one or scrape it off and put it into your trash bag and take it out with you. Principle four is leave what you find. This is the Native American artifacts, the arrowheads, the arrows potentially themselves. It could even be stuff from pioneer days, mining days that you could run into. There's artifacts from the old miners, their equipment, stuff from their cabins. The Antiquities Act is what covers these, and I believe it's something around 50 years old or older is what needs to be left behind, even if it appears as trash. There's some folks that find, hey, this is a cool little heart rock. I'd like to take that home and put it in my heart collection. Take it, don't take it. Probably you should leave it just because it is part of that canyon. And folks that are coming in after you or behind you, that could be part of their experience as well. So leave what you find. so that those that come after you can enjoy the similar or same experience that you did on finding these artifacts. Just remember that when you're at a pictograph or petroglyph site, when we touch those, the oils from our skins damage those and will degrade those pictographs over time. So, as part of the leave what you find, take pictures, don't touch them, and just admire from the distance. So, principle 5 is minimizing campfire impacts. This is not an eliminating situation, it's minimizing how much of an impact we leave. In particular, to river trips, we should be using our fire pans. We should be using our fire blankets as well. There's some rivers that aren't requiring them yet, but many of the agencies who manage these lands are leaning towards requiring blankets that are going to catch the little pieces that pop out of the fires. This also includes taking an ash can with you so that you pack out all of your ash as well. If you're having a campfire every night, the ash can build up. So with each subsequent fire, you can reburn that ash to help take down some of the bulk. And don't be collecting a whole bunch of rocks and making a fire ring and using those. It makes it really hard to get your ash out, and it ends up getting into the river system, and it just doesn't look good for other boaters, to experience ash or pieces of charcoal or partially burnt logs floating downriver. This principle also it applies to everyone who's using the backcountry, but it might pertain or have a little bit different spin if you're a backpacker or somebody like that who's using the backcountry in a little bit different way than we do on river trips. Principle 6 is respect the wildlife. This one's pretty basic and straightforward. Don't pet the fluffy cows. Give them space, whatever they are. Give them the space that they deserve and need. Don't kill it. Like if it's a rattlesnake, give it some space. And try not to feed them either. This includes all your scraps of food that is your micro trash. If animals can get into your coolers, specifically bears, there's been some increased bear activity. I've heard reports of this fall on Maine salmon and Middle Fork salmon. Rogue River is another one that gets a lot of bear activity. So if these animals get habituated to human food, when the river people leave at the end of the summer, these animals aren't going to have a good, proper backup reserve of nutrition and fat stores that they're going to need to get through the winter. And when they start looking for human food, it changes their behavior and it changes what these animals are doing in their natural environment. So don't feed them. Make sure you've got the proper equipment for bear proofing all of your stuff. This goes back to your plan ahead and prepare stage. So just make sure you've got all those things covered and don't feed them. This can also attract a lot more bees. And we had not an incident, but one of our people got stung this year. There's can be some negative interactions that way, and then those animals end up getting swatted, beat down, or whatever. So just keep those things in mind. So the last principle is principle 7: be courteous to others. The biggest spot where conflict happens on river trips is at put in and take out. You got to be patient, jump in and help people out, have it be just a mellow trip, a mellow vibe at the put ins and takeouts, start up conversations, make some friends, and don't get in too much of a hurry. We're all here to have a good time. And so just be nice. It's a good rule to follow. Another thing to remember at put in and takeout is be a boat ramp hero. Consolidate your gear, get everything into a big pile, and get off of the boat ramp just as quick as you can and leave room for others to follow. This is another point of conflict that a lot of folks run into. So be that boat ramp hero and get your stuff out of the way as soon as you can. Another way that you can be courteous to others is on these rivers that the campsites aren't managed or you don't have reservations and it's just a free for all, first come, first serve type of situation for your camps, is just communicate with others. Hey, where are you going camping tonight? And try and, if you're kind of going to be in the same area, maybe don't camp where you were had initially planned. Let them have the campsite that night. The other issue where people have conflict is if a really small group is taking a really big campsite. You want to pick campsites that are appropriate for your group, that you're not taking the big ones if you're a small group, and vice versa, except a big group isn't really going to fit in a small campground very practically. So just communicate with each other down the river, talk to each other how your trip's going, and just be courteous. Thanks for watching, everybody, and let's all work together to leave as little trace as possible.